Niners fans, I'm feeling pretty generous this week, so here's your chance to win some extra cash. All you gotta do is predict the right score for the Niners-Rams games down below in the comments of this video, and I will literally Venmo you $25 if you get it right. Again, all you gotta do is be the first person to comment down below the correct score of the Niners-Rams game with the correct team, and we here at Chat Sports will be Venmoing you guys $25. It's easy. Just go down, comment, get him in right now, and then let's just jump right into today's mailbag. All right, Niners fans, let's jump right into our mailbag today, starting with Bradley Russell on YouTube asking, 49er, hashtag 49ers, do the 49ers have the most takeaways this year, and how do you feel about our takeaways? Okay, well, they technically don't have the most takeaways. Here are the top 5 teams on your screen in order of the most takeaways. New England now is in the lead after what they did on Thursday night. They have 15. The Steelers have 12. The Packers have 11. And the Niners are tied there for third with 11 as well, one ahead of the Bears. Now, you look at that and you go, oh, well, they're what, tied for third? That's pretty good. You want to be in the top 5 in the NFL. That means you're a good defensive team. What people don't realize or what they forget, the Niners had the early bye, so one fewer game to get those turnovers. So in reality, you can make the case, depending on where they would be if they didn't have a bye week, they could be the number 1 team in total takeaways. Guys, the Niner defense is balling out, and this is one of the main reasons why. Yes, they're getting pressure. Yes, they're doing great in coverage, but they're also creating turnovers, which is so important in the National Football League. We don't even realize it. I mean, we're like, oh, interception, it's good, but the more turnovers you create, if you have a plus and a plus-minus turnover differential, your team wins more often than not. A big reason why the Niners are doing well. So good question there, Bradley Russell. That has been a huge, huge plus of the Niner defense. Let me just ask you guys this. What has been the most impressive part of the Niners this season? Is it Garoppolo? Is it the run game? Is it the defensive line? Is it the secondary? Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, let's keep going on here on our Niners mailbag question. Alfonso Eden on YouTube asked, with the receivers struggling, should we go after a receiver in a trade, or with the way we've been running the ball, does it even matter? Great question. There were a lot of wide receiver questions, so I kind of piled them all into this one question here by Alfonso. So, it's no secret, the Niner receivers are not exactly scary, I would say, and Jalen Hurd is on IR with a back injury, so he won't be back anytime soon, so we're stuck with what we have. Now, what we have can be good. What we have has shown flashes, especially Deebo Samuel. But I think all of us can agree the receiver position is probably the weakest position on this football team that is, again, undefeated and still very, very good. So, there are some possible trade targets. There's a new one we haven't talked about yet here on the 49ers YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and go over the top 3 targets right now available. AJ Green, the new one from Cincinnati. Stefon Diggs, we've heard that one a lot, from Minnesota. And Emmanuel Sanders from Denver. Now, the Emmanuel Sanders one to me is the most interesting one here because he would be the cheapest. Now, I think you could get AJ Green for a second. I don't know if it would take a first. I feel like he's old. He's old enough at a contract year where you wouldn't have to pay a first. So Sanders is the cheapest. The Niners would definitely go after the cheapest target versus giving away a first and probably a future second for Stefon Diggs. The problem with Sanders is Denver won last week. Denver beat the Los Angeles Chargers, making them, what, 1-4 now? If they would have lost and gone to 0-5, then I think it would have been a complete fire sale. But because they won, that hope remains, so it's one further week of waiting on Emmanuel Sanders. So if you want Emmanuel Sanders, I would encourage you guys to root against the Denver Broncos because that means it's a better chance of Sanders being available for a trade. Now, doesn't mean they're going to go after any of these guys. Of course, GM John Lynch has said, we want to improve the team. We don't want to give away the farm. So, again, I read that as Diggs is the least likely one because he'd be the most expensive, with the Sanders the most likely, and I actually throw in AJ Green because I don't think AJ Green would cost as much as people think because of the injury history and the fact that he is in a contract year. Now, before I move on here, he does mention we're running the football very, very well. Doesn't even matter. Well, going to lose, basically starting a new right tackle and left tackle. School's been there, but now the right tackle's out as well. And Kyle Juszcyk is done for the next couple of weeks because of the knee injury. So the question is, can we keep running the football? Well, the only good run defenses you play on our remaining schedule is Seattle, who's the 4th best. You play them twice. And Baltimore, who is the 10th best rushing defense. All the rest are like 16 through 28. So you might be able to get away with it and still run the football. All right, question here. Which wide receiver would you want the Niners to trade for out of these 3? G for Green, type it down below. D for Diggs, or S for Sanders. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I mean, Diggs is the best receiver out of the 3. I'd much rather have him. but Emmanuel Sanders would be the cheapest, and I'm all for keeping those draft picks and continuing to build through the draft. All right, Tyler Burbeck on YouTube asks, are the Niners going to be able to compete with teams like the Saints, Rams, and Seahawks? Well, they're going to get a chance to prove it on Sunday when they go to the LA Coliseum to take on the Los Angeles Rams. That is going to be a great test. It's going to be probably the biggest test they've had. We know the Monday night game against Cleveland was big in terms of national perspective, but in reality, Cleveland's not as good of a football team as the LA Rams. A great test there. And you know what? You're going to get to play the Seahawks, and you're going to get to play, or you might be able to play the Saints in the playoffs. Now, again, out of these teams, and we show the NFC West standings right now, Niners 4-0, Seahawks 4-1, Rams, and then Cardinals. The Seahawks are the best team out of all of these teams. That is your real test when you want to know how good the Niners are. If they can beat the Rams, that's another check on the box. You know, bam, divisional foe on the road. That's huge. But if you want to prove, I think, to the national media, not just us, so we know we're good, the national media would want to see you to beat Seattle. You do that, good Lord, we might be the best team in the entire National Football League. So, answer your question, they're going to be able to compete for sure because they run the ball well and play good defense, and they're going to get a chance, 4 times at least, see that, the Seahawks twice and Rams twice as well, to prove that they are the best team in the NFC West. Guys, first off, let me just pause for a second. I gotta give you thanks because we have done an excellent job. You guys have done an excellent job subscribing to our 49ers only YouTube channel here on Chat Sports, youtube.com/49ers TV. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. Let's keep that going. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. We do a lot of great things here at Chat Sports as always. All right, Nathan Robledo on YouTube asks, what position do you think we will try to draft when we are on the clock? O-line, D-line, or secondary? Oh, man. Well, what time is we would draft on the clock? I would say, I read my own notes there. O-line, D-line, and secondary are where I would actually go if we were going to be drafting people. First off, it's very early for this. I think it's way too early to be getting into the NFL draft in 2020 because we could have injuries or we could find out down the road that we need this or we need that. But I think the O-line, with it being banged up and Joe Staley being a little bit older than what people would hope in terms of your star left tackle. But school's filled in fine. But I would be all for protecting Jimmy Garoppolo, for addressing the D-line in terms of adding more pass rushers. Let me just say this. We have a ton of pass rushers. New England and Philadelphia, two of the most recent Super Bowl winners, always draft pass rushers in the NFL draft every single year. Doesn't matter if they already have Fletcher Cox or all the other good ones that New England has. They always draft pass rushers. I'm always for getting as many as possible. And then I do think the secondary potentially could be, a 3rd or 4th round pick, depending on how much longer Richard Sherman is going to play. He's been great this year, but that is something that I would 100% go ahead and address this offseason just because you can continue to grow them and they'll learn under old Richard Sherman. What do you guys think? What is the 49ers' biggest need right now? If you had to pick, I know we're 4-0, but no team's perfect. What's the one, maybe wide receiver? But of course, you're hoping that Debo and Jalen grow up, so we'll see what happens going forward. It's a little early, but I have a fun question there by Nathan Robledo. Okay, next year, Justin Longcur on YouTube asks, who are the 49ers going to have to fill in for Juice? Kyle Juszcyk for all you non-49er diehards out there. It's fine, I'm helping you out. Or will they run split backs instead of a fullback majority of the time? Okay, so Juszczyk's knee injury is a big deal because he is easily the best fullback in the league and a huge part of Kyle Shanahan's zone running scheme. And so naturally, we had a lot of questions on the last YouTube, the 49ers video where I asked for questions, asking what we're going to do without Kyle Juszczyk. Now, Kyle Shanahan, our head coach, was asked this very question. Here's what he had to say. Quote, you don't replace Kyle. He's kind of a one-of-a-kind fullback. We still use a fullback, and you do that with tight ends also. You motion them in there and do stuff, but no one is going to fully replace him. We just got to do some things and adjust. And again, it's basically all you can do. They're going to do a lot of motion. They're going to move some tight ends back there. They might run multiple back sets and just try and fill the hole, putting a square peg in a round hole to try and help out with the loss of Kyle Juszczyk. It's a hard loss. Now, does it affect the 49ers in terms of wins and losses? Should you not be betting on the 49ers? I'm okay with sticking on the 49ers even without Kyle Juszczyk because that defense is so good. And speaking of betting on the 49ers, listen, I've already placed my NFL bets for this weekend, and I'm taking the 49ers. Just going to throw that out there. But if you want to get in on some NFL betting, our friends at BetDSI have an excellent promo code for you guys, the promo code 49ers. Listen, the Niners have been a terrific bet so far this season. I'm winning every single time I'm betting on them. So here's your chance to use our partner BetDSI and get in on some money, get in on some winning. So, again, you go to chatsports.com/betdsi, use the promo code 49ers. You will get a 120% deposit bonus. Again, chatsports.com/bet. You put down $10, you use the promo code 49ers, it turns into $12. You put down $50, boom, it's $60 to be able to bet. And if you put in $100, $220 is at your betting disposal. Simple math. Again, 120% deposit bonus whenever you guys sign up at chatsports.com/bet using the hashtag or using the promo code 49ers. You might as well get in on it because I'm going to keep winning money unless you guys jump in there and try and, take some money away from me. So we will see. All right, Oscar Lemus on YouTube asks, do you think we'll use our passing game more now that Juice is out for the next 4 or 6 weeks? We've had this question a little bit before. I don't think so. I think we got to stick to the running game because of how dominant we are. Tevin Coleman being back is huge for the San Francisco 49ers. And I said it earlier, there are only 2 defenses that are good against the run statistically coming up. Seattle twice and Baltimore. Everyone else, even the Rams, are like 17th against the run, and then there's a 20th team, a 21st team. So I think we're still going to be able to run the football without Kyle Juszcyk. But that does not mean that we need to continue to improve the passing game. I need to continue to see Deebo Samuel emerge and Dante Pettis, wherever the heck he is. First off, did you guys see Dante Pettis and OBJ with the jersey exchange where Dante tried to get Odell Beckham's jersey and he was like, nope, give it back? That just kind of shows the wide receiver position for the Niners is a struggle right now. I think that they might use the passing game a little bit more, but this team is a run-first football team. If we cannot run the football, we will be in trouble. So we'll see how that goes first. Use the run to set up the play-action pass. All right, Nick Burkhart, on YouTube says, 49ers, what do you think the 49ers should do about the field goal unit? They struggle with field goals, and the primary reason from my point of view was the snap and hold, not as much so the fault of Robbie Gould. Now, very, very true. The 49ers and Robbie Gould are 7-12 on the year kicking, and of course last week he was 1 of 4, but there was a block, there was a bad hold. These things happen in terms of kicking. When you pull up the actual chart of Robbie Gould's misses, 2 of them have been between 30 and 39 yards, and 2 of them have been 50 plus. Now 50 plus, no one's really automatic unless you're Justin Tucker for Baltimore or whatever it is. So I'm not going to worry about it too much yet, but if he continues this trend, then you got to take a look because you do not want to be the football team that has a problem at kicker. I'm not saying we do, but you go to the playoffs and then lose because of a kicker, aka Chicago Bears, Cody Parkey. So we'll see what happens, but I share your concern, but I'm not as concerned yet because it's still very, very early, and I do think that Robbie Gould is a clutch and very good kicker. He's proven that in the postseason before. All right, new thing we're going to do here. How about you give me a follow on Twitter, @RealThomasMott. You see it somewhere on the screen. If you do, between now and Monday, when we have our grading video for the Niners-Rams games, I will give you a shout-out at the end of next week's video. So, 1,000 people do it. I'm going to be very, very busy, but all it takes for you guys to go on Twitter, @RealThomasMott, give me a follow. I'll give you a shout-out on our next video. Okay, Mr. Leaks on YouTube says, at the end of the Browns game, Odell and Garoppolo had a conversation. It sounded like Odell said, I'm coming here. Garoppolo responded with, I got you. What are your thoughts? First off, I looked this up, and no big national pundits talked about this. If this was a real story, I'm not saying it's a fake story, but if this was a real big deal, the national pundits, everyone would be talking about it, First Take and First Things First, and all those guys would have been all over it. So I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm also, it's kind of hard to hear. I would not make anything of it. Odell Beckham Jr. is a great receiver. This season, he is struggling. 23 catches, 355 yards, 1 touchdown, 15 yards per catch. I'm not saying he wouldn't fit in the system, but I'm also saying there are better options than Odell Beckham Jr. and cheaper options than Odell Beckham Jr., and they all are named Stefon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, and A.J. Green. I know we want to fix and address the wide receiver position, but Odell Beckham Jr. is not the right choice in my opinion because I do not think he's a very good locker room guy, and I think the locker room in the 49ers is very, very good right now. You do not want to mess that up. Diggs comes in, he's a great locker room guy. A.J. Green is a fantastic locker room guy, and I would argue that Emmanuel Sanders is as well. I'll ask you guys, though, would you want the Browns to trade for OBJ? Sure, if they gave him to us for a third-round pick, I would, but it's going to cost first-round draft picks to do so. I'm out on that one. No thanks. Okay. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. How about one more here? We're running out of time, but one more. Riley Dale on YouTube says, why are there always haters Why do bad people, or why we do bad, people hate. We do good, people hate. Then we dominate. That rhymes. People still hate because they can't stand it. It's actually a wonderful feeling. Keep the hate coming. Why do people always hate? That's a great question. People will hate on these videos. People will hate on Twitter. People just like to hate. It's the world we live in today. When it comes to the 49ers, people did not think we would be this good. Okay? We talked about this before. National media had us between 6 and 8 wins. Didn't our own Mitch, have us at 5 or 6 wins? Just saying. The Raiders are doing well, though. Let's keep going. People just didn't believe that we would be this good. And then when we are this good, they go, well, I was wrong, but I don't want to admit it, so I'm just going to say you're not legit yet. If we beat the Rams on Sunday, anyone who hates on us can just absolutely shut it, okay? If we were to lose to the Rams, we're still a good football team. There would be no need to panic. People will then continue to hate. But if you can beat the Rams on Sunday, after beating, the Browns, everyone loves the Browns on Monday Night Football, I think that will shut a lot of people up because people love McVay, they love Aaron Donald, and they love Jared Goff. So, I'm hopeful for a win. I think we are going to win. And of course, we'll have plenty of coverage of the win, hopefully, next week here on Chat Sports. So be sure to subscribe to our 49ers only YouTube channel. There we go. Those are all of your mailbag questions from this past week. We'll have plenty more in the upcoming days. Remember, you predict the right score of the game down below with the right winner, you'll be Venmo'd $25. So get it down there, get the comments, let's go. All right, for Chat Sports, I'm Thomas Mott signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.